everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Dork Side of the Ring podcast. I am your host, the purveyor of all things dorky within the scope of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I am Grumm. Hello. I hope you guys are doing good. We're at the end of the month, which means this is, the 29th? The week of the 29th of this is coming out. It's coming out on the 29th. Maybe you're listening throughout the week. Who knows? But if you are, this is a last heads up to prepare for the 23 days of Grummas. They start Wednesday this week. Wednesday, the 1st. December 1st is on Wednesday. That's what we're doing there. Everything, that means also everything from Patreon is now behind the paywall again. But you can still go and enjoy some of the things out there we put up from the Patreon. Roby, myself, and Kurt. Myself, Roby, and Kurt. Kurt and Roby. Myself, Kurt, and Roby. Watching the Teddy Long wedding. And that was, for a long time, a favorite of mine. Just because it was just 20 minutes of just non-stop, just hilarity. So we got that. That's up there, as well as The Rock, This Is Your Life. Very similar, 20 minutes of hilarity. And I think there might be some other stuff by the time this goes out there to the public for free. Maybe a video or two. I do want to say thank you guys. We're going to be heading to the home stretch here. I've got everything done, Dork Side related, throughout the year. The month of December, we're all done. I'm going to edit it. It's going to be done, and I ain't got to worry about it at all. I'm going to wait to upload them the week before. But if I think I'm going to be swamped for work, it's not work because it's fun. You don't enjoy work. You enjoy your hobbies. Anyways, look, we got two people I enjoy having around. It was not work. The conversation we had was not work. The getting them was not work. And the only thing that got worked was the Peacock Network, watching it on there. I got BSJ and WackHumanBeing. It was back saying, I forget what it was. I forget what we ended up having it. But it was good. It was when Heyman's back shot. Bump shot, not back shot. Bump shot. Maybe back shot. Who knows? I don't know. But we got Wack and BSJ on. We're talking about the Junkyard Invitational. It's a long one because I forgot to bring up to Wack the thing he originally, and I said, hey, Wack, do you want to be on the Dork Side? He said, hey, yeah. Do you mind if I have a qualm I need to settle with a fellow CPF member for something they said on a previous episode? I said, okay, all right. We never did it when we live, so actually, the couple days before I'm recording this, got together, and it's another 10 minutes or so. But hey, look, it's a good episode, long episode. If you're got that turkey hangover, it'll be a good one. Like I said, December is right ahead of us. The 23 Days of Grummas live on twitch.tv/tgrum, or just go to grum.tv throughout the month. We've got streams, we've got movie nights, we've got community hangouts that are I call stream caroling. We go stream to stream, and we watch people's content, and we support their content. As a community, it's fun. You can do that by joining the Discord join.grum.tv. If you want to support me, Patreon support.grum.tv as well. If you give the $5 tier, or subbing on Twitch. Don't sub on Twitch. I'm going to offboard. This is going to be the last month as an affiliate for me. But if you want to support support.grum.tv, $5 tier guarantees you a sub wrestler for the 2021 Grand Grumble, the Grumble of the Royal Grumble, the Sub Rumble on Grummas Eve on the 22nd. And then the 23rd is a 12-hour stream extravaganza. I'm playing some games, giving away some stuff. Also, we'll be airing the Christmas special that me and the folks at Tilly put together. My brain, but we all work together as a community to do. How Muffins Stole Christmas Again. So this is a good one. And it'll be good. But that's the 23rd. That's a whole month from now. It's a whole month from now. Right now, me, BSJ, WackHumanBeing, talking the WCW Junkyard Invitational from Bash at the Beach 1999. And without further ado, let's get into it. Today on Dork Side of the Ring podcast. Make sure my whistle's all nice and moist.
That's the word for it.
Yep. Some people would say they wet their whistle. Mine get it moist.
You're not do whistles even work when you get them wet?
I truly do not know.
I feel like it wouldn't work because air wouldn't flow through them as well.
I'm guessing in the process of normal whistling procedure, there's certainly the potential for spittle and such to enter, but it's not getting flooded out.
No. Well, I don't think it's the whistle, right? Like the object. I think it's when you whistle, right? Like you have to wet your whistle is like so like the natural whistle that people can do.
The natural whistle.
Like, I whistle, but it would just, but like
the whistle God gave you.
Yeah, the whistle. The whistle you were blessed with. Some of us have big, loud ones, and some have tiny, mousy ones, But
Ooh.
Everybody's whistle is beautiful in their own way.
I thought of a question to ask before we start.
Okay, yeah.
I am going to right now as I talk, I'm typing some shit on my keyboard. Is it picking up on the mic?
Vaguely, but it's fine. It'd be all right. Because as long as as if I'm talking, it'll mask it. If BSJ is talking, it'll mask it. So it'll be all right.
Okay.
Like if you're working on stuff, you're working on stuff. It's not that professional.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not that I'm working on stuff. It's that I might Google stuff to refresh my memory.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's fine.
For instance, just thinking about the sort of timeline of my wrestling history, I honestly had to look up when some things happened to jog my memory.
Gotcha. I mean, look, I had Balin, Scuba, and Kane on, and Scuba came in, and halfway through us watching Stone Cold peeing on Arn Anderson. Scuba he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna have to fly, so I can show up. And he's okay, cool. And then like halfway through, he's like, I gotta go. So at the start of the podcast, he's there, and then when it goes to the commercial where I like talk about like, hey, leave her a 5-star review, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He's not there, and we never address it, and I refuse to address it. I'm like, this is it'll be funny.
That's
and then.
Majestic.
Towards the end of it, Balin's like getting in his car to go. Like you can hear him starting up his car. And I'm like, "Are you getting in your car?" I'm like, "You are really outside." He's like, "Yeah, I'm really outside." I'm like, "All right, cool, yeah." So it's
good to know.
Yeah,
it's not the biggest of look. ESPN people they have some shitty quality things where it's just like how are like when it was hilarious to me. That like there's an echo. See, speaking of, but the like when the pandemic first started, a lot of the like reporters and everything, they were just like, oh well, we don't have a home setup, and I'm like, you're just gonna use your fucking
late
Mac computer microphone and camera, like
y'all late,
like you guys can't like I understand like there was a flush of like I don't know, like the idea of like, oh well, we gotta, everybody was going, with it. You had to get a computer. Like Logitech was selling fucking their cameras out the fucking wazoo, but like nobody had the foresight to maybe start doing that on their own. Like, because like I feel like when you like if you're just like the PTI, like you just look at the PTI guys, how often are they just on the road in some place? Like just the thought of like, hey, wouldn't it just be easier if we just have it set up on a camera, on like a web camera, instead of having to rent a fucking like full setup? Because like
that's the world we live in now.
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins be on fucking 480p. It's just terrible quality from his fucking home where he has to remind everybody that he is an NBA champion.
Terrible
Does it
quality.
sound better? Because I realized I was talking through my like computer mic instead of like my actual mic.
It's definitely louder. It sounds
Definitely
like you're
louder,
a little
yeah.
bit close. It sounds like you're a little bit maybe too close to the mic. Other than that,
How about this?
A little bit better. Do like a sentence. Like go talk a
Yeah.
little bit.
Uh,
Like tell me about Justin Herbert. What do you think his prospects are for the Hall of Fame?
my God, he's a lock. No, send him there now. But make sure you get his hair in the bus. Don't have it after he let his strength coach cut his hair in the locker room, just like on a whim.
oh, that's a poor life decision.
Yeah, that's why it looked so ugly second half of last season.
All right.
I will admit I was not closely attuned to Justin Herbert's hair decisions
Herb man.
last year.
The only reason why I asked this was like I need something. What?
I'm seeing a picture of this haircut.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah, no, it's a bad haircut.
Matt Saracen ass hair.
It's just it is a horrible. It's just a horrible haircut. Like it was just not. You had like at least with me, I'm going to like. I'm going to my girlfriend's best friend's wedding. She's the maid of honor. Like, and then like the week after, I'm cutting my hair into a mullet.
Hell yeah.
And I'm gonna rock a mullet throughout the holidays, and then probably get it cut like on my birthday.
Mm.
So that's about it. Like, because when's the next time I'm gonna have long hair? Which I don't know. Like I feel like I'm like. I don't know. I recently was described as somebody not feeling like themselves with having longer hair, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of at that point. Like I've had my long hair for a little bit now, but I don't feel like myself with it.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's a hair haver problem. Not everybody can be a hair haver.
Yeah.
They're gonna invite me to the ball no matter what, though.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what. My ticket is been punched. But we're here on the dork side of the ring. See, it's just a natural conversation. At some point, I don't know where I'm going to edit most of that out, most of the conversation out. We might just start talking about Justin Herbert. But yeah, we're here on the dork side of the ring with two of the best posters in the Tyler I Am Discord. Allegedly, I will say this so that people can't yell at me for probably being right. We have Ben Simmons Jump Shot, a.k.a. BSJ, and WHB, a.k.a. WackHumanBeing. That's right. Both of them could have three-letter initials like Triple H, HBK, Y2J, but only BSJ wants it.
Acronym boys.
How you guys doing?
I'm good, Glad to be here. Kind of tired, but, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm not tired, but also not ready. So, duality of man.
The duality of man. We got When's Himmon's Bump Shot here. I had to go find the BSJ saying it When Himmon's Bump Shot. An incredible tag team name. Because I feel like the Bump Shot's a great tag team finisher name. I don't know what it is.
100%.
Don't know exactly what it is, but calling it the Bump Shop is good. But yeah, we're here on the dork side. Wack knows what we're about. Wack is an alleged listener. BSJ, not so much. But we're going to change that with this appearance, because that's what happens. BSJ, we tend to start alphabetically here. Where can the people find you? Tell the people a little bit about yourself and the whatnots.
You can find me on Twitter at BSJ. That's spelled out, so it's BEE _. Shit.
I get it. It's hard.
Yeah.
_ES _JAY.
Is that one S or two in S?
That's one S. That's where I'm at right now, man. That's where we're at this semester. I am an engineering student. I know you can boo me here. But yeah, I don't have any projects going on right now, but the planet's dying, man, and we need to fix that. So there's so many things you can get involved in, whether that's working in the community, to like clean up stuff or just raising awareness or just like lowering your own consumption of stuff. I know there's a lot that's out of the individual control, but we all got to pitch in.
That's right. That's right. We got to do all the hard work so that BP can spill oil and ruin all of our hard work again. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. That
shout out to BP for sponsoring the podcast, by the way.
Yes, bring me that money, and I will totally talk about how your oil is clean oil that is being spilled in the ocean. Wack, what about you? Where can the people find you? What are you working on and the such?
Well, you can find me at WackHumanBeing on certainly Twitter. That's where the real money is made. I will not tell you how to spell whack because in context you can tell that whack is an adjective, and if you spell whack correctly for being an adjective, you will find me. I probably should have checked whether or not there's somebody using the alternate spelling before I said that, but we move regardless. I am a master's candidate in library science, currently in my first semester, and I'm a poster's poster, a real Wes Unseld of posting. But before I got into this program, I was working for many years in food assistance, and my sort of area of academic interest within library science is sort of archiving foodways and food justice work. So definitely, in lieu of seeking out my projects, of which there are none, until such time as I write a master's paper, just go get involved in your neighborhood, kind of knowing what the food needs of your neighbors are and how they'd like them met. This is a big food sovereignty podcast. I feel I've been a guest for 2-3 minutes. I can declare this a pro food sovereignty podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Big food sovereignty. Pro. Also, helping out, big pro helping out the less fortunate and those in need. Big pros of that as well. Also, as we're recording, it's nowhere near the time. We're actually almost like 2 straight months recording this before it actually airs, but it is the holidays. The holiday season is in full gear. Happy Thanksgiving again. Hope you enjoyed it. But this is one of those tough times on families because, they have to decide, do we eat or do we have a good presence, out, showing out for this holiday season. So anything that can help those who are asking those questions is good. If you could just be like, hey, help out, donate food where you can, donate your time when you can. All important stuff.
And since you said something,
yes,
little tricks of the trade. Definitely at this time of year, physical food is good, and especially if you're donating at the super local level, like your neighborhood food pantry or mutual aid organization or community fridge. Always better at the local level because it's easy, or it's a more targeted audience. It's easier to know what are the exact food needs of your community. That being said, the farther you go up the food chain, so to speak, if you're donating to like a big honkin' food bank or like a warehouse at the warehousing level, they will generally recommend money over food donations. Not that food donations aren't helpful, just people like to give good deals to warehouse level food assistance organizations, so they can probably spend their dollar a lot more efficiently on food. But anything is good.
Anything is good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's gradations of quality, but
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're, like I said, pro food sovereignty, pro helping out those in need, especially tough times now. It's getting colder.
And watch this dismount. And we're pro wrestling.
Hey, look at that, Wacky. It's like you should have a podcast of some kind.
You can't see me doing finger guns.
No, but I also was doing finger guns, so I was spiritually on the same level. BSJ, were you doing the finger guns? Were we doing that office thing where we're kind of doing a little standoff of some kind? No? Yeah?
I was not doing finger guns. I have broke that habit successfully.
Oh.
Wow. You think you know someone.
You know what? I think it's very clear what number poster he is.
It's funny. I said you think you know someone, but also as that was playing out, I was thinking like BSJ, definitely not a finger guns type dude, which I would consider a compliment.
That's true. That's true. Not those kind of vibes. But the kind of vibes we are on today, you'll see because I am looking at the where I paused this thing. Has two figures wearing incredible fits. But we'll get to that in a second. Before that, I got to ask for your references and your experience with pro wrestling. And since we started with BSJ for the introduction, Wack, you're up. Floor is yours. What is your experience and relationship with pro wrestling?
Sure. So I grew up in a household where pro wrestling, among other things that were deemed to be like too quote unquote violent, was not allowed essentially. And so the first memories I have of watching wrestling were definitely like changing the channel to a channel with wrestling on it and being kind of fascinated by it. And eventually actually tuning in for long stretches of time, but also being aware that like I had to change the channel very quickly if my parents came into the room. So like kind of, I think the first time I started watching regularly in any sense was kind of just at the beginning of the so-called ruthless aggression era. So somewhere in the 2002 to 2003-ish zone. And I kind of came in and out there at different chunks of the time. I remember downloading this is actually before 2002, I think. I think one of my earliest wrestling memories is downloading the original Tables, Ladders, and Chairs match on Kazaa, which definitely dates this reference. But I think the thing that got me seriously back into wrestling for my longest stretch of time was early NXT, which for folks who aren't familiar with wrestling, it's was created sort of as the developmental, or in this incarnation, it was kind of the developmental league of WWE to kind of develop their younger talent, their newly arrived talent. Today, it's kind of evolved into a brand of its own with an identity of its own, and the developmental aspect is only there in fits and starts. But specifically, there was a 2 out of 3 falls match between Sami Zayn and Cesaro that somehow I heard through the grapevine that this match was very, very good. I found it online somewhere, and I was like, damn, this is very, very good. So kind of started tuning into NXT regularly. Currently, I'm in a bit of a lull. I will tune into pay-per-views here and there, but definitely not really watching wrestling on a week-in, week-out basis, although I follow enough wrestling and wrestling-adjacent people on social media that I often kind of have a vague awareness of what's going on, who's who the youths like these days.
who's hip?
Yeah,
who's it? You know.
Yeah. My understanding is that people really love. What's a wrestler I can put in here where it'll be clear enough that I'm being sarcastic? People really love Goldberg these days, right? Like 2021 Goldberg.
Jackson Riker.
Oh yeah, big,
big,
massive fan.
People, the kids, they love Jackson Riker. I've been told.
You can tell he's cool because he spells Jackson with an X.
That's true. Also, I can't even go. I'm trying to go along with the bit, and I'm like, I can't even find anything to compliment about this fucking guy.
Bit.
I'm sorry.
So yeah,
I was doing a bit.
BSJ, I apologize in advance for the fact that we've introduced you to a world where Jackson can be spelled with an X.
No, I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Or what about Breaker with 2 Ks as a last name? Oh, actually, no. You might know this, BSJ. BSJ. Who was last year's starting fullback for Kennesaw State University?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right, never mind.
Wow, he's not a real Gruden grinder anymore.
No, apparently not. No, it's Bronson Rechsteiner, aka Rick Steiner's son, aka Scott Steiner's nephew, aka Braun Breaker, the soon-to-be GOAT of WWE. Give it like 2 years.
That is an incredible fullback name.
It is, right? Bronson Rechsteiner.
Well, I love him.
He was playing like he played like linebacker, and then freshman year, and then like they switched him to fullback, and he was just like, okay, I'm just like his highlight tape of his college career is just him running over fucking safeties and corners.
Tell me he has like one of those old neck rolls.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
I have some breaking news from the internet.
Breaking news.
Bronson Rechsteiner, the aforementioned Braun Breaker,
yes,
has 2 siblings. At least that's what Google is reporting. Mm-hmm. One of them is named Hudson Rechsteiner. The other is named Maverick Rechsteiner with no K on the end of Maverick.
My God.
It's like, look, Rick Steiner knew exactly what he was doing. He go, well, I guess it's not because he's like, I think Rick Steiner's is like Steve. Like, so the story for Rick Steiner is he used to go as something else, and because his name sounds like Rick Steiner, and everybody would just call him Rex Steiner. They're like, why don't we just call him Rick Steiner? Like, make that just his name. And then his brother is Scott, both Robert. There we go. It's Robert Rex Steiner, and they called him Rob, and then they just called him Rick, and they're like, all right, well, your brother's Scott. We're gonna name him Scott Steiner.
Sure.
Well, look,
people that think the Steiner math thing.
Yes, that is the Steiner math man. Yep. Okay. Well, Scott Steiner is. But that's the beauty of Braun is that he looks and wrestles like his dad does, but he talks like his uncle. Like he just had a video package last night on NXT where he was just kind of like being like, "What is Braun Breaker about? I'm about beating people up. You know, I don't give a shit if you think like I don't give a shit who you think you are. I'm gonna break you." He goes, "You want a friend? Get a dog." And I'm like, "What?" Like an incredible line because I have never heard anybody say, "If you want a friend, get a dog." I'm not about that. Like,
listen, I peek behind the curtain here. On the date we were recording, the last episode of Dork Side of the Ring to come out prominently featured dogs.
That's true.
So definitely hearing about you want a friend, get a dog in the context of wrestling is definitely makes me nervous about somebody following up on that and our friend Braun Breaker responding in turn by committing dog-related crimes.
Look, he can't be as heinous as Big Boss Man. Big Boss Man kidnapped a dog, killed it, fed it to its owner. Like, that's some sick shit. Wrestling, right. BSJ, what is, speaking of, I assume, like, I know the answer to this, but what is your relationship with professional wrestling?
I watched a special once over the summer.
Oh, okay.
It was the one where Bianca Belair hit the other person with her hair. I know like 2 wrestlers, and that's from like hanging around with Jim and Luke, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I know Roman, I know Bianca, and that is it.
2 for 2.
Yeah, it's really all you really need. Maybe Becky and soon to be Braun Breaker, but that's about it. Maybe, well, also Biggie. So like, there's a couple more for you, but that's just room to learn, you know.
I know that that BSJ has heard, at least in text form, big meaty men slapping meat.
Yep.
And yeah, it's definitely
context to that.
Yeah.
The context of that is that the person who said it loves when big meaty men slap meat.
What more context do you need?
Yeah, there's more context to it, but it doesn't add much more than what's already been discussed.
I feel like there's so much overlap between like wrestling and football guys. I love it.
Yeah. A lot of them, and just funny enough, the guy who said it, former Ohio Hawkeye. I was gonna say Ohio State or Iowa. It's Iowa Hawkeye. Jesus, Iowa Hawkeye.
There's a former offensive lineman from my alma mater who is currently in the WWE, apparently performing on Raw. This definitely not something I would know, but Mace.
Yeah.
Brennan Williams is his name. He played football at UNC while I was there for undergrad.
Nice.
Let's see how many times I can date myself in the course of this episode.
Yeah, the Wack's age is the one thing, because Wack, you are somebody who feel like I just has lived a lot of life, but also at the same time, like, I don't know if you actually have lived a life, or you just have traveled like just in the areas where that makes me go, wow, Wack knows about this little sandwich shop in New Jersey. How the fuck does he know about that?
You know, this actually does kind of relate to my wrestling viewing experience, in that you know, having just said that I've done a fair amount of wrestling, like, even in the things that I really, really like, I am not I'm not a guy who's big into like being comprehensive. So like, I have over 700 records, but there are a lot of music things that I just know absolutely nothing about. And then I weirdly know a lot about like the state Soviet record label from the that technically still exists today, but is no longer the state record label, if I recall correctly. But yeah, so as far as that goes with wrestling, like the things that I did watch, the people that I do like, I'll consume a lot of content related to them, but there are just big blind spots of mine. So, you know, there's a very good chance that whatever we watch today is going to be something that I've either heard of but not seen, or just straight up have no idea about.
All right. Well, this is good. I always like bringing new content to people, because just wrestling is a whole lot more fun when no one's taking it seriously, and I only have people who don't take wrestling too seriously on. Before we get to that, I have to ask like one or two questions. I'd like to ask a little bit of a tease, and this one's going to seem odd because you're going to wonder, how does this relate to professional wrestling? But have you guys ever gone to a demolition derby?
No.
Ooh, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right, so I'm alone in that, bro.
What? Hold on. I need a little more here.
Okay.
How did you end up at a demolition derby by choice? Not to say that that's a poor choice to make. It's just not what I would have imagined from you.
So when I was younger, I lived in the boonies of northeast Pennsylvania, like north of Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, like
Pike County,
Wayne County.
Okay.
So it was up there. Yeah, it was up there, and so naturally, the type of people that lived up there were those type of people. And my deadbeat father, who was not a deadbeat entirely at the time, worked at a grocery store. He was a manager, and one of his guys in stock did like demolition derby at the county fair. So he's like, oh, all right. So, whole family went, we watched, and for like 3 years, I distinctly remember him coming in like third and second to the same dickhead driver, like to the point where like I'm pretty sure after we moved to Philly, me, my mom, and my brother, and my sister, like I'm sure that somebody got shot over this fucking demolition derby. Like like he would, like, it got heated. They would insult each other. They didn't like each other. And like my mom used to drive a Chrysler LeBaron, like a 87 Chrysler LeBaron or something. I don't remember the year, but it's the kind of demolition derby car you want. Big, wide fucking body, mostly metal, indestructible hunk of junk. And I just distinctly remember him always asking my mom, he goes, whenever you get rid of that, you let me know. And like it died one year. And he fucking came and picked it up, gave her like $250 cash for it. Like it was dead. She couldn't do anything. No one was going to buy it for that much. And he came up, bought it for, cash. And then she ended up getting like a Kia Sorento or something. Or like a minivan.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
So this wasn't like pro demolition derby.
No, this was
such a thing exists.
This was county fair demolition derby.
Yeah. So this was like, sick for love of the.
Yeah, this is the people who truly enjoyed banging their heads in some beat up station wagons, and that's the thing, man. That's like it. Looking back, it's very much like wow. No wonder why I love pro wrestling. Like there would be people who would paint up their car. They would be like there was a guy who was the clown doctor. And like he had like a old like station wagon that he would make it look like the old doctor car, station wagons, but he'd have a clown face on the front, and like gimmick and everything. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, okay, so
and there's definitely a storied tradition of cars being destroyed in pro wrestling history.
Absolutely.
Maybe not demolition derby style that I can remember, but
no.
I don't want to accidentally stumble upon the answer of what we're watching, but a few famous car destructions come to mind for me.
I don't think you're. I'm guaranteed. Well, I'll guarantee because I know. I don't think you're gonna stumble upon with that train of logic.
Good, because
I asked because demolition derbies are a lot of fun, mayhem. It's a lot of bang. It's big meat. It's big metal cars slapping scrap.
Yeah.
But when they're all done, like these are all junk cars that people just, they get more use out of it, but really they're just using it for that one time and that's it. And then it just goes to a junkyard. Which brings me to today's topic. In 1999, WCW was getting into the hardcore wrestling craze that was sweeping professional wrestling into North America. That started in ECW, that WWE had started themselves in embracing with hardcore matches that would go all types of places. They would end outside of the arena. They would end in the concession stand. They would end in somebody's locker room, and built an entire division around hardcore matches. WCW, a little late to the party, but still, getting in on it, decided that they would themselves jump in, feet first, into the hardcore scene. And they would do such in a spectacular match that no one had ever thought of, no one would ever recreate, because it would not end the way you would want this kind of match to go. But it ended the way it was supposed to end. We are going to watch today from Bash at the Beach 1999, the WCW inaugural, as it was advertised, the inaugural Junkyard Invitational.
Oh, baby.
This is from the Bash at the Beach, 1999. I thought I remembered it, and I was like, I think it's at a Great American Bash, which would have made Great American Bash 1999 a 2-time Dorkside appearance. But no, it is.
Yeah, bashing was involved.
Bash at
just
the
in
Beach.
a different lolocation.
Yeah, it was at the.
Who's
beach.
to say this beach is American?
So we're going. You're right. So we're going to watch from 1999's Bash at the Beach. If you're on the Peacock Network, you go to Season 6, Episode 1 of Bash at the Beach. The time code is 1 hour, 10 minutes, 11 seconds. We're going to be back here on the Dork side of the ring with BSJ and WackHumanBeing. I couldn't get Macho Man or Dusty Rhodes this week, but I do have myself here to tell you a little bit about my friend's pet project, passion project, love a true tool, especially nowadays when the holidays. Not last minute shopping. You get a little. It's like not last minute, but it's like the middle of the minute, I guess. It's the middle minutes of shopping for the holiday season. Go to SoonTM.com. That's right. Guest of the podcast, Cheese Whiz, him and my other friend, Chef Has Teeth, have put together a wonderful website where you, as a consumer, a gamer, or somebody who enjoys video games, or knows somebody who enjoys video games, can go to SoonTM.com. You can search whatever game is coming up in the next month, so you can get the gamer in your life. Maybe a stocking stuffer game, something cheaper. Maybe that big AAA release. Who knows? I don't know, but you can by going to SoonTM.com, looking up. You've got a game. It's basically the world's best gaming calendar, proclaimed by myself here. You basically can go there, find what games are coming out, when they're coming out, what they look like, what platforms are coming out, who's making them, games made by them other studios, published by those other publishers. There's a whole lot of good stuff there. You can connect your Twitch account if you have one and make it nice and easy to leave some reviews as well. The other thing that's really cool about SoonTM.com is there is other events and whatnot. As things are opening up during a global pandemic and they are being scheduled and things are happening. Maybe there's a conference that's being done by video and you can see what games are coming out. Some big studio is announcing, a set of games. Maybe it's an event where you can go, oh, I didn't know that there was a Nintendo Direct this time. That's cool. That's good to know. Oh, EA's doing something. That's cool to know. Sony, Microsoft, all the big names, Bethesda, Ubisoft, all of them, all the big ones. You can see what they got going on. So you go to SoonTM.com. And tell Cheese I sent you. Here's the Dork Side of the Ring. Now, back to the episode with me, Wack, and BSJ. That's it, and that's basically. I'll tell you in a little bit here, but that was the Junkyard Invitational, the inaugural and the only Junkyard Invitational from WCW. Unfortunately, as we've come to commiserate about. So first impressions. We'll start with you, BSJ. What was your thoughts about the Junkyard Invitational?
I loved it. There is, this is guys being dudes. It's just a bunch of large half-dressed men hitting each other with car parts. And then at some point, someone sets a car on fire and it explodes. I don't get what it has to do with the beach, though.
This is...
Yeah, it's funny because, the segment starts with Schiavone and Heenan introducing it in Hawaiian shirts. That's the way that they've chosen to interpret the beach theme. But ultimately, this event was set in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So, I feel like the Junkyard is kind of a better representation of what the beach means in this context.
Yeah, no, so the backstory leading up to this is, as we saw, Hack has debuted in WCW after a short appearance as Raven's live-in cousin of some kind. which is funny because it's just like they were trying to make Raven a different character, kind of like where Raven is this grungy dirtball, apathetic character, and they're like, yeah, well, he's a child of rich parents who think he's who just throw money at him, and has a incredible life, and he's just miserable because he's a miserable bastard. And like Hack is there, but he's not Hack, he's like Jimmy or something like that. And then they bring him in separately as Hack, never connecting the dots, but he's there. And he's trying to say every match is a Hack rules match, and like there's he goes as far as to wrestle like Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash, he's like, you may be great, but you can't hack it, and Hack rules, only the strong can hack it. And then Kevin Nash beats him in like 5 minutes.
Got it. Yeah, you got to work in your bit before you get jackknifed.
Yeah,
jackknifed. I'm looking at the full list of competitors, and it's a real Island of Misfit Toys situation.
It really is.
Like even the people that are eventual notables, like there is no, at least nobody that's a star in this context or in like TV wrestling context. Like Mikey Whipwreck is a big ECW guy. Steven Regal today, William Regal, big fan of William Regal. Fit Finley, aka Finley in WWE, but like even those guys who sort of made it out of the Junkyard Invitational, one of them literally made it out of the, but yeah, they it's just not. There's a lot of detritus here, including apparently Hulk Hogan's nephew.
Yep, Horace Hogan, who was debuted 9 months prior as part of the build up to Hogan Warrior 2 at Halloween Havoc 1998, which is Dorkside material in and of itself. But so like there's a lot of people here, and they kind of built this up as Hack and Brian Knobbs and Fit Finley and like some of the luchadors are like arguing over who's really like hardcore, who's a tough man, because WCW in like 1997, 1998 tried to do a tough man division where the idea was these guys are legit tough guys. Like Jerry Flynn, they're like, yeah, he's a karate black belt, and Haku is a tough guy, and Fit Finley's a tough guy, and it's just like they were trying to make their own like version of hardcore without like it being hardcore wrestling. And
BSJ said it semi-facetiously, but that really is just the guys being dudes division.
It really is.
It's big. Who's that? Adazio?
Yeah, that was Adazio.
Big Steve Adazio vibes.
Yeah. So the match, it ends up happening. We just watched it. But some of the highlights of this match, as a viewer again for me, the first time you see La Parka and you realize it's La Parka, because La Parka had this whole skeleton get up, black and white skeleton, and would kind of do this like funky little dance to the ring. He's not doing that because there's no entrance. They just start the match. They blow the referee blows the fucking blowhorn, and then they're like, well, time to beat the shit out of each other. But La Parka is wearing a mask and a sleeveless like flannel shirt and jeans.
Yeah, tactical La Parka.
Yeah, that's what he looks like. That's normal La Parka.
Yeah, I have so many questions about the setting of this match and the logic that went into it. There's a whole ring of cars. That makes sense to me. Junkyard. The cars are covered in graffiti. And I'll tip my hand here. I've never really a junkyard like that. I'm not a junkyard expert, but I feel like the type of graffiti that was on there was wayward teen graffiti. And so I like it didn't seem like employees tagging cars for various purposes. It was like people saying so and so sucks or whatever. So like, did they just what is the implication there? The players come in and design their own little fun house? Like did a wayward band of teens come in and have their way with this junkyard? Like
I just think of it as some sort of like Saw situation. They just woke up there.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be very pro wrestling.
So, so the Monday Nitro before this event, they introduced the championship, I think, or the trophy, what the trophy was going to be, and the trophy was like Jimmy Hart was like, my guy Brian Knobs, he's the baddest guy, the toughest guy, very Jimmy Hart-esque promo, of saying that he was the most hardcore guy. And like everybody, like Fit Finlay, like I said, Fit Finlay comes out. Some of the luchadors come out. Hack, and that's how it gets to the point where Hack's like, you guys all claim to be hardcore, but meet me in the junkyard. It's like, it's just like somebody thought of this idea, and they're like, why don't we just have like a Warriors moment, like a fight in the junkyard.
Yeah, I will say on the subject of Brian Knobs, I'm not deeply familiar with the Nasty Boys, and so I'm just now learning that the Nasty Boys consisted of two gentlemen with the nom de wrestling of Brian Knobs and Jerry Sags. And I think you would be hard pressed to pick two nastier names. Just filthy, disgusting names. Not good. So kudos to whoever who set that up. In particular, Jerry Sags is distressing.
I just looked up a picture of them, and that is definitely a Brian Knobs and a Jerry Sags.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Also, they had one of their signature moves was to get their opponent in the corner and then put their armpits into the person's face.
Yeah. That's the full commitment to the bit, Just what's the nastiest thing you can do? Armpit in the face. Gross. Ew.
Yeah, I'm it's just like it's so I want to go back to like the car setup, because like we were talking about, we were kind of getting lost in the, like, while we were watching it, getting lost in the set design almost of this whole thing. And like you could see that there was a forklift that could pick them up and pretty much probably put them all there. They didn't send them too high. They did like 3 high. But all those cars were real junked cars.
Yeah. No, they got that part down tremendously. Junkyards have shitty cars, and they found shitty cars.
Yeah, they found shitty cars, and like nothing. No, they took no safety precautions. Like they're just, like it's like, I don't know, like I don't understand how
a clearly non-forklift certified Fit Finlay drives a forklift in this match.
One guy was wearing a helmet.
Well, you're right. Jimmy Hart was wearing a bicycle helmet. This is true. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was one of the few people who didn't need said helmet.
Exactly.
He was just there yelling.
Yeah.
He just had his yelling helmet on.
This whole event was a bad event. Uncle Dave Meltzer, if you trust his ratings, I mean
I do not.
Correct. Some people do. I don't. I'm more of a enjoy what you enjoy and rate it whatever the fuck you want to rate it. But there was eight matches on the card, and there were 8 stars given out.
Oh. Important Nasty Boys update. They're from Lehigh County, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
That home of many a nasty boy.
Yep. Yeah. They're public and there was a very strong Philadelphia presence in this match. You've got Hardcore Hack. You've got the Nasty Boys are from the area.
We're just letting people call Lehigh County Philadelphia in there.
Area, Philadelphia area. All right. People
listen.
I visited Lehigh, and that is not Philadelphia.
It's not, but man,
you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Look, here's the thing. If we're gonna once people start, associating Villanova with the city of Philadelphia, it was too late.
Wow. Wow.
Shots.
Wow.
That's right. Willie Law. That's right, Willie Law.
Oh, this is probably a good while I'm on the airwaves, the largest of audiences, I would like to bring to people's attention the fact that Philadelphia is the largest city in New Jersey. I know you all already know
this motherfucker.
I can't believe
this motherfucker comes onto my goddamn fucking my stage, the stage I built.
You came to my house.
You shit on my rug.
Look, it's
You're
Philadelphia
wrong.
is within my purview because it's the largest city in New Jersey. So, I'm coming into my house. Too.
This is incredibly disgusting and disrespectful.
Apparently, it's within mine since Villanova's in it now.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean,
yeah, but yeah, I mean, Philadelphia does kind of define a lot of what they were trying to accomplish here because I mean, yeah, you've got legit ECW legends, and ECW was a comically Philadelphia venture. Just imagine a pro wrestling league, a pro wrestling brand from Philadelphia, and make it so much of a caricature of what you would imagine. And then don't change your first draft. That's basically what ECW is.
Yeah.
Also, tailgating a lot. See at Lincoln Field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is basically we have ECW, and this is what ECW at home looked like.
Yeah, basically. So a little backstory into the production of the match for you guys, because and the people listening. So the match cost money, obviously, because it's a lot of setup to do. There was explosions. There's a junkyard. You got to rent out an entire junkyard after dark. All this stuff going on. Fireworks and whatnot. Uncle Dave Meltzer reported that the match cost $100,000 to pull off, which is definitely a lie. No way in hell anybody's doing an $100,000 thing for a 13-minute match.
I mean,
what's it cost to rent a helicopter?
But they owned a helicopter, so they just had to pay for the gas. So WCW BSJ was owned by Turner Broadcasting.
Okay.
The people who own CNN, the Braves, at one time the Hawks, they own WCW because Ted Turner was a big wrestling fan, mainly because what made him really successful was for the Turner Broadcasting Station, TBS, which would end up coming to Superstation, was wrestling at 6:05 on Saturdays and Braves baseball. And it became one of the first national broadcast or cable channels, and people like really enjoyed it, and that's what made him really rich. And then, he had it with Georgia Championship Wrestling, and then they sold Georgia Championship Wrestling, or Vince McMahon bought it in what is famously called Black Saturday. Jerry Briscoe tends to call it Green Saturday because he made a lot of money selling Georgia Championship Wrestling on that day. But Ted Turner was upset because, Vince bought it just so that he can put his own wrestling on. Because he bought the contracts, and thus he ended up having... Ted Turner was like, well, fuck, like, God damn it, I'm going to have my own wrestling company. So he ended up eventually buying Jim Crockett Promotions in 88. Well before all of us were born.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Well before.
Well before.
Long before.
Long before. Multiple years. So
that is true. Two is multiple.
So, so the helicopter probably didn't cost them that much. They probably already owned one. It was just a matter of, the crew, standard things. But obviously, there was some money you had to dole out more for than a regular match. So $15,000 to $20,000 sounds better. That's coming from former WCW president Eric Bischoff. But I think I don't know if if you were a wrestler, how much money would you have to be paid to actually partake in this match?
Ooh, it's hard for me to even put myself in the space of you are a wrestler, because I rather famously do not have hands. But I mean, compared to a normal wrestling match, or even a normal sort of extreme rules match, or just a match that involves quote unquote weapons, I mean, the stuff that they're getting hit with, like random car parts and tires and stuff. There was even a few classic garbage can lids, always a staple of ECW.
Tailpipes.
Oh yeah, obviously, because it's a junkyard match. You got to remind people it's a junkyard match. I feel like it's not that much weirder or more potentially harmful than a chair or table spot going wrong. Obviously, the large fire, not great. But you would think, putting myself in the mindset of a wrestler, it's well, we got people there to handle the fire. It'll be fine. I feel like it'll be fine was said a lot of times in the prepping to this match. I think whatever a wrestler normally gets in a match, just triple or quadruple it. And that's probably, if I'm using wrestling brain, if I'm using WackHumanBeing brain, there's not a dollar amount.
Stock options though.
Honestly, if you pay for parking and give me a meal, I'll do this for $400.
Yeah, there's places where you could definitely find that. If that's an avenue you want to, it won't be exactly in this format. But if you want somebody to pay you $400 to have a wrestling match where you get hit with a lid of a trash can, that's money that's attainable for you.
Mm-hmm. We'll go. It's I just like the polar opposites. Nah, there's not a dollar amount. I'll do it for $400 if you pay for transportation and hotel. I'll be all right.
and a meal.
And a meal. Put food in my belly afterwards.
What's the meal that you're eating before your junkyard dog?
Well, is it before or is it after the junkyard match?
You might want it after.
Okay, so what are you doing? So what are you having before or after you've gone through hell in the form of a Junkyard Invitational?
I don't know, man. Just like whatever's close, like nicer than like chain fast food, but like it doesn't need to be a sit down place.
Oh my god. Oh, this man will wrestle for Chili's.
No, not a sit down place.
Not a sit down place. So he's
like, I'm like a taco truck or something.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, just get BSJ. Just get him. Like you can get Chili's, but just don't take him to Chili's.
Chili's.
Get it to go. Get it to go.
Nah, he would know. I know a crisper anywhere.
Too much Chili's to not know what it is when I have it.
They're going to Applebee's, like they're getting the to go, and they pull up. They're like, "Hurry! We got 10 minutes before he realizes."
You know, I've been to Chili's a ton. I don't think I've ever been to an Applebee's.
Wow, this is a company man right here.
Yeah, no, brand loyalty. You know.
Yeah.
He loves those baby back ribs.
Yeah. Imagine a Chili's where instead of being known for ribs, they are known for riblets. Something called a riblet. You have basically conceived of an Applebee's.
Is that just a smaller ribs towards like the back of the animal?
I have
no
not
one knows.
put in the research to know. It's like the size of half a rib. It's been a while since I've partaken.
Yeah. Wack hasn't been down that bad to go to an Applebee's.
I mean,
which is good.
Well, it's like they're certainly known for like the half price appetizers, which I still think is a thing. Like after I think 10 o'clock. I definitely the last probably 3 or 4 times I went to an Applebee's were after 10 for that purpose. And you'd have to go back a smooth nearly a decade probably to get to my peak Applebee's years.
Yeah, no.
That's
some nasty business.
It's not great. Yeah, there's some fascinating questions being asked in this match by I think mostly Tony Schiavone. And I think we've just kind of covered one of them. You ever been in a junkyard match? I think we've all established that no, none of us have ever been in a junkyard match. The question that immediately came after that is, you ever been in a fight in a car?
Well, have you?
Just not the kind of fight they were talking about. Although they then did go on to talk about, I'm pretty sure Bobby Heenan after that talking about having a kerfuffle with his wife, a verbal kerfuffle. So I don't know. Maybe they do mean it that way. But
yeah.
The other question that I wrote down that came up mid match was, you ever hit a guy from behind with a tail? Question mark.
I have never.
I can't say I have.
Never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. So who are you taking out? First, you get a tailpipe and a human of your choice to hit from behind with a tailpipe. Who is it?
Midman.
Wow.
You could have done that in person lately. That's it. I'm going back.
Tailpipe, man. They wouldn't let me bring it into the game.
Wow.
There I was outside of some high school football stadium, waiting for Midman to walk back to the buses after a hard-fought victory, so I can beat the fuck out of him with a tailpipe.
Getting hit with a tailpipe in a parking lot is such a high school football crime.
Right.
Oh, that's like a fucking Mountain Goats song.
Or go back to Moon County if that happened to me.
That's showing up on Spencer Hall is talking about that on his next podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the world of high school football, somebody was like coach was attacked with a tailpipe afterwards. Just just whomped him.
Yeah, somebody's like 50-year-old wife is somehow involved.
Yeah, BSJ does it, but somehow it just unlocks some drama, like small town drama. Like, no.
Big Rush Probst energy.
What about you, Wack? Who you taking a swing on with the tailpipe?
Again, as previously established, very hard for me to put myself in that violent mindset. But I have this urge to be like somehow socially responsible with my tailpipe, like tailpipe to the back of the head. Like that's very likely a murder charge rather than an assault. So I mean, like,
so you're gonna cross.
But now I'm thinking of saying on a recorded medium, oh yes, I would like to hit this very powerful person with a
allegedly
car tailpipe. Oh yeah.
Hypothetically,
how am I blanking on all of my personal values right at the moment when somebody's offered me
we can settle a vendetta right now.
TJ Yates. Like I feel like that is the perfect level of like joke and serious. Like so TJ Yates, former, I can't believe this is a real fact, NFL quarterback, started a playoff game in the NFL, but was also the quarterback for the majority of my time at UNC. And again, I've dated myself, but just a god awful quarterback, who, like, that was the peak of me caring about college sports, and I was backed into a corner where the only escape was caring about the well-being of TJ Yates, and TJ Yates did not love me back. So
they rarely ever do.
Tailpipe hours.
Hours. Boy, I can't believe Midman and TJ Yates are the top two. Are they?
Listen, if you give Midman TJ Yates, that's the world's most interesting 8 and 9 team.
Yeah, that's a would have been an interesting QB coach duo. So now we have BSJ and Wack versus TJ Yates and Midman, or BSJ and TJ Yates versus Wack and Midman. I'll have to book that. See where we go there.
Yeah, what's the stipulation for this match?
Tailpipe on a pole.
Yes, incredible.
On one hand, Midman's gonna. If I do it where it's the two of you versus the two of them, Midman gets a former professional athlete on his team.
Zach Wilson.
And I don't know if that's fair for Midman to have something like that, because I don't want to give him an advantage in anything. So
he's a former D1 lineman.
Yeah, like it's but like I said, I don't want to give him any advantage. That's what I meant. I totally meant because he's a former D1 athlete, not because I want to stack the chips against Midman. No. Wack, do you think you could put aside your vendetta so it could be a 3-on-1?
Oh.
One more time. What's your faith in TJ Yates one more time?
No, I cannot in good faith. I cannot in good faith pin my fates to TJ Yates anymore. I've done it more than once, and that's too many times.
That's fair. So the match, more highlights from the match. I mean, we talked about Jimmy Hart's wearing the bicycle helmet and like arm, knee pads and elbow pads, very responsible. hilarious, but also unnecessary because he's not actually in the match. We've got Brian Knobbs getting thrown off of a car onto the top of a van that didn't have an engine in it.
Mhm.
Thank you, Tony Schiavone. And various amounts of just bumpers be thrown around. We had multiple lacerations. Silver King's right bicep was cut open.
Ugh.
Hugh Morris, I was going to say build him out. Hugh Morris, I think he separated his shoulder. He did a dive onto a windshield. He was trying to dive onto somebody. They moved, and he went into the windshield. I think he separated his shoulder. Maybe was concussed. A lot of concussions in this match, surprisingly.
What's the official count?
I'm pretty sure everybody had a concussion.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, you're getting smacked in the face with actual bumpers. You're getting thrown into like Rocco Rock went head first into a window and it didn't break. So that's definitely a concussion.
Yeah, this concept was by people with concussions for people with concussions.
Mm-hmm. So this match, put together by Eric Bischoff wanting to do this. But Eric Bischoff actually didn't want to do this. The creative team behind in WCW at the time wanted to do it, and Eric Bischoff being the president, but to this day he hates and he disdains, he abhors hardcore wrestling. Like, he on his podcast 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff, anytime hardcore wrestling is ever taught like on a show that they watch, he's just like, I hated this. Like, it took away from the match. He goes like, I'm all for, brutal, like, just if you're gonna be, tough guys, like, be tough guys with your fists, like, and it's understandable.
Yeah,
but
for visual aid purposes, I have posted a picture of Eric Bischoff,
yes,
so that BSJ can see how. I think the real issue is just that this man lives so hardcore in his normal life with his fucking Lego haircut that he snaps onto the top of his head at the beginning.
Look, he still has. He's got an incredible head of hair to this day.
Oh yeah, listen, he will go to the grave with a better hair.
He was dying it at this point in 1999, at age like 30, at like 36.
Yeah,
he was fighting the Greys hard.
He gave up the color to get just the perma thickness.
Yeah, it is. I'm like looking at the 5 o'clock shadow. I'm jealous because I don't have a good 5 o'clock shadow. I tried to rock it for a couple of years. Maybe now I could do it. I'm a little older. You need to have that the wear and tear on your body for it to work.
You need a follicles per square inch level on your face that I simply do not have.
I have it, but
you're more of a civilized human being.
This is true. But Eric Bischoff, not a fan of it, didn't care for it, and basically he assigned somebody to produce the entire thing. Now I'm going to give you Wack will have a better answer for this, this more for Wack. I'm going to give you 4 names.
Mm-hmm.
One of these names were the people that was the producer behind this.
Mm-hmm.
And those 4 names, in alphabetical order: Arn Anderson, Brad Armstrong, Diamond Dallas Page, and I'm giving you 3 names because I couldn't come up with a 4th name. I was like, fuck. Okay. I was like, damn, there's so many names I could go. But okay, so Arn Anderson, Brad Armstrong, Diamond Dallas Page.
Ooh boy. Actually, I want to hear what BSJ's guess is first, just based on vibes.
I'm going Brad Armstrong.
You I hadn't even thought about like how would I answer this question if I was answering purely based on vibes. And yeah, this definitely seems like the work of just top to bottom Brad shit. I know the least about Brad Armstrong of that three. This doesn't feel like the work of Anderson, but I could be wrong, and I'm working with a very limited scope of what Arn Anderson is about. This seems way too cutesy for an Arn Anderson. I'm going to say Diamond Dallas, simply because I don't know enough about Brad Armstrong to make an educated guess. But I totally would not be surprised if this is a Brad production.
It was an Arn Anderson production.
Wow.
So
Arn, what are you doing?
For BSJ and those not in the know, Arn Anderson, famously known as the enforcer of the Four Horsemen, a very straightforward, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you kind of guy. He is he's had a bald yarmulke since he was 12. He has looked 47 since age 13. He's the enforcer, and he was tasked with this match, and they were like, all right, that'll be perfect. There you go, Arn. You've got this match. Like, this is Arn Anderson. This picture that might get added to the socials, so people have the reference. That's Arn Anderson at age 31.
Yeah, I think the reason I did not think that this was Arn Anderson handiwork is because it seems to me like he would be the type of the guy to be like, well, why would I hit someone with a tail? I have these perfectly good fists.
Yeah,
I have God's car tailpipes on my right and left arm.
Those are some meaty hands.
Yeah, no, those are absolutely some fucking ham hocks that he's got ready to fucking cock rock and ready to go.
Meat. I think the shorter list would be the parts of his body that you could not describe as meaty.
His hair.
It's true.
Very.
All right. Well, now I need to know who you think has meaty hair. Like
meaty
Bischoff.
Hair? I was gonna say Bischoff has meaty hair.
It's thick, but it's not meaty. I'm trying to imagine what meaty hair, and I'm feeling upset.
I mean, why? I really think when I'm meaty is meaty hands. There's a lot of meat on those hands. I mean, you can't have actual meaty hair, but Eric Bischoff had a lot of hair.
Yeah, I'll say that's the closest I'm willing to someone that meaty hair.
Because it wasn't long either. That's a 90s that's a buzz cut nowadays. When he was rocking that mullet look, that was standard operating procedure. There's 4 guys behind him in that picture alone that have that same haircut.
Yeah, now I'm realizing that Arn Anderson probably had Bischoff level shit, but he realized that if he exposed his scalp, that people would be able to see how meaty it was.
I mean, he does have a big forehead. Good lord.
This is a big face.
He does have he's got a big face on a big head. That it's incredible how big his face is. But but his head is still bigger. It is also funny how the hair is just thinning and at the top of it. And it looks
that's a normal thing to happen to a hairline. Please remember this in 2 or 3 years when you think about Arn Anderson and maybe me.
No, it's just I'm saying he's 31 in this photo. He might be younger in this photo. Arn Anderson was old when he was young. Like when he debuts in Jim Crockett Promotions at like 27, he looks like there's a reason why they're like, yeah, he's Ole Anderson's brother, because they're the same fucking age. And then eventually Ole Anderson started to get like significantly older looking, and they're like, he's a nephew, not a brother.
Just a perpetually grizzled man.
Yeah. Grizzled young vet, as they would like to say. Yeah.
I found out he's from Rome, Georgia, and this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Rome, big UGA fan as well.
My second guess was going to be Columbus, Ohio.
Yep. I mean,
it's the goatee.
Yeah. It's. Yeah, I mean, it's much discussed that Florida and Ohio have the vibes, and I feel like there are large swaths of Georgia could be in that same. I think Ohio was a tremendous guess.
Here's a picture of him younger, slightly younger.
Yeah, that man was born an uncle.
Boy, he's definitely. If we were friends in high school, I would have just called Arn. Well, his name's Marty Lundy or Martin Lundy. In real, I would just call him Uncle Marty, because
Martin is. It's preposterous to think of a baby named Martin.
Only
like just picturing his face on a smaller body.
Like he's just an angry child. Like it's like here's a picture of him with Ric Flair from around the same time. First off, incredible 80s fits. But second off, he put the glasses on, and he, like, most people when they put glasses on, they look older. He put sunglasses on, he looks younger.
Yeah, that man has offered me a beer in the parking lot of many a tailgate.
He looks like the guy who stands outside. It would have been outside yelling at Midman for not making the right adjustments at halftime.
Mm-hmm. You have TJ Yates, damn it! I would definitely like to request, if you've made it to this point in the podcast and you're hearing the absolute gem of a mental image of Arn Anderson's head on a baby's body, definitely make it a reality. Photoshop that. Use your design skill. I need the best. I need premium pictures of Arn Anderson's head on a baby. I'm J. Jonah Jameson, babyfied Arn Anderson, and you can send them to my Twitter account at @DorksideRing. Just tweet them at me at DorksideRing.
That's good. That's no. I mean, I might just go do that when we're done here. Tweet it at myself. People are like, what the fuck? Like, I'll just tweet it, and no one will have an idea about it for 2 months. But yeah. So we're wrapping up here. But I do have one last question, and it does relate to Fit Finley jumping over and escaping and winning and becoming the inaugural Junkyard Champion. And it relates to that because Fit Finley, proud son of Ireland, and just incredible teacher of professional wrestling, somehow jumped higher than I have ever jumped on a fence. Like he leaped like his entire height to get to up the fence in one foul leap after getting his ass whipped and thrown into the trunk of a car as it was being driven into a compactor. Mm-hmm. But my question is, has there ever been an event in your life where you could have used the leaping ability that Fit Finley had at that time?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
But BSJ, you're gonna have to take this one first, because again, hard to put myself in the mindset.
Mhm.
Fit Finley's hops.
I feel like there's so many times I've like tripped over stuff that I could just jumped over.
BSJ wasting that one hop, that one gift of lift to just jump over some Legos, like that he just left in his house.
Definitely like dunk and take a video of that. Just use that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Finley is apparently 6'2", which is just a hair taller than me. I feel like if I had that, like dunking was definitely the first thing I thought, but I'm also unconfident enough to. I mean, he's got 4 inches on me. Like even with that ability, would I still be able to dunk? Like, can I palm a basketball? Like, even in my wildest, I'm still like, oh, I probably couldn't. I like weirdly the first thing that comes to mind is just like cross country. Like I ran cross country in high school, and there were definitely some tricky like route systems on the path my high school ran on. And so yeah, just like kind of similar, but like just trying to clear some wild shit on a trail that would otherwise trip me. I also like just thinking about jumping, it made me recall a time that I was running in practice at the bottom of a the crest of a very, very small hill, smaller than I am tall. And a deer jumped out from this bush at the top of the hill, like just running full speed, and like jumped very slightly over me. And the first thing I imagined thinking about like jumping higher, if I had been a little bit more off the ground, like I could have made like a head-on collision with deer. And that's just like a fascinating thing to it. Oh, you hit a deer with your car? I got my body was hit by a
I mentally eared a deer.
Yeah, exactly. I mentally decided that it was, but
business decision. You weren't trying to get posterized by Bambi.
Yeah, it's just it's I think what it is like it's almost a story I can tell, but it's not actually interesting. But if it was like we made contact, yeah, if I office linebacker Terry Tated that deer in midair, like now we're really cooking with gas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's incredible. Yeah, you just grab it, jump, grab it, take it down.
And what you would want for this situation is, you would want Fit Finley's jumping ability from those days, but you would want the upper body dimensions of Fit Finley in his latter years, which I've just posted for BSJ's reference. He got pretty meaty by the time I was seeing him on television in his WWE years.
Yeah, he would.
How does he look like that? He looks like someone. I can't place it.
He looks like every Irish dad that lived in South Philly.
He has in this specific picture. I don't think this is a feature of Fit Finley in a larger sense, but in this specific picture, he does have like alternate universe where Joe Biden is a. And once again, if you have photoshops of Joe Biden as a pro wrestler, I cannot stress this enough. Tweet them at me at Dorkside Ring.
So good. No, he. You know what? I don't want to say it's spot on, but it's damn near. It is. I'm now seeing it, and now I'm just seeing him death staring, and just like that's. Oh boy.
Yeah, Yeah, the second I look at literally any other picture than this one, I'm like, oh no, that's insane. But yeah, we did it, Finley.
We did it, Regal.
We won the Junkyard Invitational.
But yes. So little closing notes. Hack was supposed to win this, but he showed up late to a. He showed up late to a production meeting and was more than likely a little less sober than desired. So then they just went to Finley anyways. Finley then would become like the de facto hardcore champion. He would defend the trophy, and in a match, he went through a table and it like almost fucking killed him. Because where it splintered, it cut like the artery that goes like in your leg.
The ephemeral?
Yes, yeah.
That's it's bad news when you know the name.
Yes,
as a layperson.
Yes. Hit that artery, and also broke his leg. So he was out for about a year or so. Or no, not a year or so. He was out for like 6 months, and it's like. This guy almost died. He's back in 6 months, and they were like, "Yeah, this guy's tough." He would take Brian Knobbs under his wing as a hardcore mentor-mentoree apprentice. He ended up wearing digital camo way too much.
Listen, who among us?
I mean, we've all had a phase. But yeah, so that's what happened there. Multiple guys had concussions. The Public Enemy guys were signed like the week of to pay per appearance deal. They showed up a couple more times, then they were just let go. The most successful guy in this match was probably Fit Finley. Maybe Steven Regal. Because he would leave shortly after this match and go to WWE and would become the Commissioner Regal, which was a very fun gimmick for him. But yeah,
just a tremendous a tremendous on-screen personality. Not that long after I started watching NXT, William Regal became the commissioner of NXT, and just a genuinely scary human being, even when he's at that age and just yelling at people for administrative bullshit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, man, it's a shame he couldn't really get over some of his addiction issues when
oh boy.
William Regal had issues, and at the time they were building like the worst time. He was the Raw GM, and he was going corrupt with absolute power. Like he legit, like they ended an episode of Raw with him running into the truck, telling him to shut it down, and then that's how the show ended.
Mm-hmm.
He booked himself to win the King of the Ring. He was claiming to be the most powerful man in WWE, and then like a week later, he gets suspended for 60 days because he failed a drug test. And then, kind of came back, but was never pushed the same. And it's like, damn, man, like that was it. You were gonna do something. They were gonna do something special with you, man. But damn, that's
if I didn't know better, I might think that all of the stories with this similar tenor and arc in the world of professional wrestling indicates some sort of fundamental problem with how the talent is treated from a health perspective. Thankfully, I know that's not the case.
Not anymore, as much, I guess.
Strides have been made.
Well, I mean, a lot of the WWE has done and should be commended for its wellness policy because it changes every couple years to where it gets stricter in areas where it needs to be stricter and less strict where it needs to get. Like, they don't really pop you for weed anymore, but like if you fail a drug test because you did weed, they're just like, okay, like that's a fine.
Mhm.
Like, we're not going to suspend you anymore. And like very much similar to like NFL, but like, or I guess similar to what the NFL guys would like it to be. It's like, all right, look, like if we make it illegal, but don't make us lose games because we get high. Like, guys will be like, all right, how many times am I getting tested this year? Okay, 6. We're doing 6 tests this year. Okay, and they'll put away money and basically just pay the fines preemptively,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
so that they don't go
We're-
bothering them.
We have to be very close to our first. Well, I say first. I'm not aware of one that exists in one of the mainstream top leagues, but like our first weed themed wrestling match.
Yeah, let's see. I guess the closest would be MSK currently in NXT, where they were previously known as the Rascals, and they had like a whole like that 70s show presentation where like they would talk about the match, but they would do the 360 like smoke filled room gimmick, which was very funny. We really missed an opportunity when we had Rob Van Dam.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's the notion of a weed themed match in current day WWE is kind of tainted by the knowledge that Matt Riddle would almost certainly be involved. But I do like the idea of the Rascals doing it, and BSJ. Now, when you heard Rascals, like, did you picture there was an S on the end of Rascals? Because
Yes.
let me tell you, you are mistaken. The true rascal lifestyle is lived by pluralizing things with a Z. So that's how the Rascals spell rascals.
Yeah, that tracks.
Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did Troll Boys have a Z?
I don't think so.
Man, that's
Like the late 90s, early 2000s had a big run on the Z's, and then it like went away, and now it's like kind of come back, but like in a more reasonable, responsible way.
that is a stain on Ethan Page's record. If that's the case, that Troll Boys didn't have.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm seeing both when I Google it, but
Yeah, I don't remember it being officially with the Z, but it could have been in a couple places.
Yeah. The Troll Boys lived the Boys with a Z lifestyle when they sang their own entrance music to the theme of Bad Boys, very poorly.
God bless Ethan Page.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna get out of here, but I do want your last thoughts on the Junkyard match. We'll start with you, Wack. What are your final thoughts about the Junkyard Invitational?
Yeah, I said it a lot during the actual match itself in some fashion. Just like the idea that this is extremely professional wrestling in nature, which is a weird thing to say about where there's very little wrestling in the traditional sense that happens in a ring. But just like the idea of elaborate set pieces and strategic logic that doesn't really make sense if you think about it for longer than 2 seconds. But the goal is to immerse you in the match itself to the point that you're not really thinking about and just truly ludicrous shit like a man almost being murdered in a car compressor, and it's fine somehow. This is like in a lot of ways professional wrestling is about only the wrestling, and in a lot of ways, it's about only everything other than the wrestling. It's one of those matches that speaks to that latter part of the biz. Just an absolute treat.
Yeah, no, the attempted murder. Multiple times we've seen attempted murder on the Dork side of the ring things, which is just.
And I venture you'll see it some more.
Definitely, it's definitely a calling card for some of these things. Attacked by dogs. I'm sure we're going to get to the point. Just last month, when you're listening to this audience, the giant falls off of a parking garage after trying to attempting to murder Hulk Hogan, and he falls off while Hulk Hogan defends himself. A lot of just murder and stuff. Wild. BSJ, my friend, what is your final thoughts on the Junkyard Invitational?
It really embodied a lot of things that appeal to me about wrestling. Namely, it was dark. There was a fire somewhere, and someone was driving a forklift around. Like, I'm probably going to get more into wrestling, given that everything I've seen about it has been like this.
Oh, I got to show you Roman Reigns running over Kevin Owens with a golf cart.
Yep, and that match. Oh no! Wait, did that match feature a forklift?
No forklift, just the golf cart. No, it did. It did feature. Kevin Owens jumped off of a forklift. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that one of I want to say the Daniel Bryan match, WrestleMania 30. I could be remembering that wrong, but there was definitely a big Daniel Bryan pay-per-view jumped off of a that was driven to the side of the ring. The natural place to have.
Yes. Yeah. It's just boy, that match was good, but motherfucker got ran over with a golf cart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Daniel Bryan versus Kane.
Yeah. Yeah.
A forklift.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's also the halftime heat match with Mankind and The Rock, where Mankind pinned The Rock with a forklift.
Mm-hmm. We will know that the industry has peaked when there's enough instances of this to do a full great moments in forklift wrestling history. I think we're 2 or 3 moments short. But yeah, that's do it for BSJ if there are wrestling executives listening to this. Tony Khan, I know you're a listener. Make it happen. When will we see our OSHA friendly wrestler?
Let it. Well, I mean, the shock. Well, there's the Shockmaster after. I'll show you a picture of that when we're done here. The Shockmaster after his debut basically got repackaged to a OSHA OSHA accident waiting to happen. But yes. So we're gonna wrap up here. BSJ, remind the people where they can find you, what you got going on, and the other things that are related to that.
Yeah, you can find me, if you like this, you can find me on Twitter at BSJ. That's at BEE_ES_JAY. If you didn't like it, you can find me at CozyDude97. Feel free to tweet at that. Nothing big going on, just, be nice to people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for having me on, Grumm.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. That was good. And be nice. That's a good message. It's a great message. Wack, the floor is yours.
Oh, what a tremendous floor it is. I'm at WackHuman Twitter. If you've listened this far, I'll let the proper spelling. That's Wack, WACK, Wack with an H is a verb. Wack without an H is an adjective. I'm glad we've settled this on the most important forum one could possibly any argument like this. I will lift the curtain a little bit and say I have an audio archive project coming with a unnamed co-host that may or may not be released as a podcast on my co-host's, whether my co-host wants it to be public or not. It will be music themed. If you've ever owned a record collection, it will probably be within your wheelhouse. Or just if you've a sentimental relationship to music. It's good strategy to give a tease for something that may never actually but that would be coming later, sometime between. By the time this comes out, it might already be out, probably before the end of 2021 if it happens at all. But yeah, be on the lookout for that, and yeah, be kind, be kind distinctly. Master the distinction between nice and kind, and be kind. To everybody except Cozy Dude 97.
There we go. So good. Cozy Dude 97. Good old.
That just sounds like it sounds like the username of a bad egg.
No, I don't think so. I personally don't think so. Cozy Dude 97. I don't think you're a bad egg.
I'm willing to be
devious, maybe.
I'm willing to be. I'm willing to not judge the book by its cover, but something don't sit right with me.
That's fair. The vibes.
Why is that cozy in this economy?
This is true. How can one be cozy in 2021? I'll tell you how you can be cozy. You have your friends BSJ and WackHumanBeing on, and you guys have some good, fun chats while watching some silly wrestling. That's how you can get cozy here on the Dork side of the ring. Uh-huh. Bam. That's right. Compliments. You're gonna take them. It was a blast having you guys. It was fun.
Yeah, definitely a big fan of this worldview of wrestling. So yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks for putting on a show every week.
Putting on a show, and winning the game. BSJ, any final words?
I'm gonna have to start watching wrestling. You've really sold me on it, just like through this and your other content, both this pod and Grapple Guys.
Oh, that's not me. That's the other guys. But the other guys, Grapple Guys, free plug. They're doing good stuff. I did help them realize how they should probably record their stuff so that it was not reliant on Zoom's overworked body. So
listen, BSJ. Like I respect and trust BSJ far too much to say that you are not a founding member. If BSJ, that's not what I thought. BSJ would know better than I would on all matters.
I'm saying like you and Grapple Guys.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. No. This is canon now.
Wack's gonna have Cozy Dude 97 down my neck for claiming I'm a Grapple Guy.
Nah.
I was the first official guest of the Grapple Guys, so
yeah. Shout out to all three, Jim Jam, Broads, and Aaron. Yeah. Just tremendous vibes.
People who actually enjoy wrestling talking about wrestling.
What a concept!
I know, right? It's almost like it's fun when no one's taking it that seriously, which is the tagline of this one. Bam, baby! It all comes full circle. Thank you, guys. Nah, seriously, thank you guys for coming on. It was a blast, and I can't wait for the next one. Little extra for the dork side, that's right. You thought you were going to hear just me saying hello. Thanks for coming to Wack and BSJ. But I do have to say, because originally when I think we even mentioned it during the actual recording,
Correct.
that Wack here, I'm joined here with Wack, has had something to get off of his chest to be like, hey, these punk ass, I got something to say. I have to say something. I have to reply, And we're cutting up a rug, having such a good time talking about the Junkyard Invitational, completely forgot about it. So I figured wait for a little bit. We're recording this right before I edit it together this weekend and put it on the Patreon ahead of a week ahead of time. And so Wack, the floor is yours for your comments. The podium is yours.
Sure. And to be clear, I'll lay all the cards out there for the listening public. The exact wording was that I have at least one assertion from a previous guest that I would like to contest on air. Now, when I wrote that, I was assuming, well, surely I'll have more than one assertion to contest on air. And then I kept listening and couldn't find any because you only have truth tellers on the show, myself included. However, so let me take you back in time to September. Let me take you back in time to episode 12, the Kurt Angle milk bath.
Oh, okay.
So I'm listening to the Kurt Angle milk bath episode back in September, both in preparation to be on the show and to just recreationally listen to my pal Grumm, my pal Bask, my pal Pat.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear on air that a previous recording guest, one B. Lambert, commonly known as Blam or Blambert, that his criminal alias. I hear that Blambert has been alleging to know of the best chocolate milk on the planet. And I say, I did not know that Blambert was familiar with Mapleview Dairy of Hillsborough, North Carolina, but that's great to know that he's out here promoting some fine Orange County, North Carolina products. And then I keep listening, thinking, great, time to move on. And I hear you, Grumm, say, yes, Blam said it was this little dairy in Massachusetts. And that's weird. It's hard to mistake Hillsborough, North Carolina for Massachusetts. There's no Harvard Yard to park the car in down there.
No. No clam chowder to speak of.
Sure you could probably. I'm sure you could probably find some if you had to. It wouldn't necessarily be of quality.
I was going to say it's inadvisable to find the clam chowder down there.
Sure. But yeah, no, I keep listening, and it turns out I don't believe y'all ever figured out the name or remembered the name that he had mentioned on air. But I did a little research because I believe Bask literally messaged Blambert on air and asked what the name of the farm was.
Yes.
So I was able to realize he was talking about Hornstra Farms of Norwell, Massachusetts. Now, I thought, well, okay, that's probably just the Dutch translation for Mapleview Farms, Hillsborough, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Your Dutch listeners already know this, but I looked that up, and that's not it's not the case.
Shout out the three of them.
Talking about a different farm. So obviously I'm furious. I rattle off a message to you saying that I have to come and put the record out on air that false chocolate milk news has been spread on your very airways, which I know I knew you would not be happy about.
No, this is concerning to me. I must.
Yeah, I haven't checked in with BSJ about how much of a travesty this is to him, but I mean, a man of honor, so probably pretty devastating to him as well. Now, here, unfortunately, is where the story takes a turn for the worse, and by that I mean that I, of all people, have to hold on. Let me massage my throat to prepare this very difficult thing to say. I have to apologize to user Blambert, because what I did not know at the time, what I know now, but frankly I could have apparently known back then in September, is that Mapleview Dairy, unfortunately, in the month of August, decided to cease milk production, which is extremely sad for me and other quality chocolate milk enthusiasts of the Greater Triangle area. Now, I know what you're wondering. What does that mean about Mapleview ice cream? Don't worry, they are continuing production. They're swapping in milk from Simply Natural Creamery in Ayden, North Carolina. Now, I've not had the chocolate milk from Simply Natural Creamery in Ayden, North Carolina, so I'm not in a position to say how it is relative to Hornstra Farms. For all I know, I may taste it and think, by God, they've made a liar out of Blam 2 times over. But
how could they do such a thing?
Yeah, I will say, I will operate on the good faith assumption that when Blambert said that Hornstra Farms, Norwell, Massachusetts, has the best chocolate milk in the country, he was saying that with full knowledge that Mapleview Dairy had ceased production, and therefore he was indeed telling the truth. And I was, oh boy, I was wrong, I think that's the word other people use for that sort of thing, right? Like I've simply never had to.
See, you know what? I'll speak up in defense of you, because you just found that out very recently.
Yes.
So
sure.
The information that you were going off of was in fact correct, but not updated.
Sure.
This is like you know, like when a team, you know, doesn't take into account the poison pill for the contract, right? Like, yeah, the trade works, but then once you actually go through with the trade, it actually bumps up their, you know, their like, you know, the income and the salary, thus affecting your cap, and that's the information you find out, you know, and like, oh, okay, so that's not. Yes, I'm right. This trade does work. However, now it doesn't really work. You know, I think you know that's not on you. I think that's a bad job by them. I don't want to sully their good name of Maple Valley Farms. Correct?
You literally had it right the first time.
I did, didn't I? Mapleview. Damn. I was like, no, it wasn't View, and I'm like, it wasn't Hill.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, right. It doesn't.
Apparently, it doesn't matter anymore.
But now, that's on them for not publicizing that directly. They should have sent you a newsletter, sent a representative to your house to let you know.
Sure. And I can hear some of the listening public wondering, well, I mean, surely the news was out there. Just the fact that Wack didn't know, is that indicative of him being a false Mapleview head, that he's faking the funk in terms of how closely he follows the latest and greatest of Mapleview Dairy news? And to that, I would like to say directly and wholeheartedly, mind your damn business. I think is how I would put it. Now, the other thing, so Hornstra Farms, if I recall correctly, Blam alluded to the idea that it was very limited distribution. They're kind of south of Boston, but like not south, like genuinely south of Boston, not like South Boston. So pretty far east in the state. And if they are super, super regional, they may not even really get to other parts of the state. But I will be doing research to see if I can obtain this alleged championship chocolate milk, because I will be in quite significantly farther west in the state, but
They should
because
serve the greater area, you know. If they're so good, right?
One wonders, you know, how what the people of Pittsfield don't need good chocolate milk. But
that's why,
but
like,
no, I won't be.
I always say Wawa is so great. It serves a wide ranging of people. You know, it's now
Yes,
it has dropped in quality. I will say this. However, it is still better than Sheets.
correct. Yeah, to the point that it's barely even worth discussing. And if you're feeling some type of way hearing that over the airwaves right now, again, I must implore you, mind your damn business. But yeah, I will be, I mean, not nearly as far west as Pittsfield, but I will be in Massachusetts around Christmas time. My parents have moved out of my childhood home, and we're sort of orphans this Christmas, and decided to just do a little Christmas on the road this year. And by chance, we will be in Western Massachusetts for that. So if it's within the Hornstra Farms distribution area, and again, to echo your point, feels like a bad sign if that's not within the Hornstra Farms distribution area. But if possible, I will make a good faith effort to track down this this chocolate milk, and because I mean, as it's been established already, I'm on board for a high quality, small batch, artisan chocolate milk.
Yes, that sounds delicious.
But yes, so that is, you know, I figured, even though there's been updates, even though this isn't necessarily the like spicy, oh, blame is wrong update that I would have wanted it to be, at the very least, I've condensed some of the weekly listening for your listening public, because obviously on a normal week they listen to Dork Side of the Ring, and then they have to separately go listen to their, you know, chocolate milk podcasts.
Not here.
Yeah, why? You know, listen, we're for the people. We say one-stop shop. That is
us.
That is what I've tried to provide to y'all for this week, and only this week, until such time as I surreptitiously worm chocolate milk talk with Wack into a recurring segment on this very podcast.
Well, I was going to say, how about we do this after the holidays? Reconvene. You know, if you do indeed get, you know, you do get yourself some of this fabled New England area fabled milk of chocolatey goodness, and get your review so that we have an official. It's stance.
Already happening. Can chocolate milk talk on a bi-weekly basis be far behind?
Who knows?
No, I will keep you posted. I do not. I'm not optimistic that I'll find it, but who knows? Maybe there will be some third party chocolate milk. Maybe there's a cross state rival to Hornstra Farms somewhere in the greater Belchertown area or whatever. I'm literally just reading names of towns I've never heard of off of it. I apologize to the Belchertown listening public. If
I don't know. I know we have Dutch listeners. I don't know if we have Belchertown listeners. So
yeah, well, you got to work your way up. You know, you can't just go straight to Belchertown.
You know, I like to think globally first, then locally. You know, if I have little seeds in these areas, you know, then I can be like, all right, hey, tell your friend, and then that's how you grow. I'm like a widespreading spore diseased.
Yeah, you know what they say? It's that famous saying: first Vicunze, then Belchertown, then the world.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Wack, thank you so much. I can't wait to hear back. Hopefully you do get some of the chocolate milk. We can get a result. We get an official ruling. And I hope that, it's in a way that, Blam doesn't take offense to it. I feel like if just hearing this about this, Blam will probably come running to the feed and listen and go, well, then I have to wait, and just waiting for the episode to drop where you return to us to tell us your thoughts on his beloved.
Mostly, I'm just happy to clear the air. Everyone was thinking about, what is this unspoken of tension that Wack is referring to and then never refers back to on the podcast. I'm just happy to, assuage people's fears.
That's. I know. For me personally, I was, I had the tension. I'm like, oh boy, like, I don't like this. I don't like, knowing that, Wack has a contention with a former guest, and but it's good to see that, we're already coming to a common ground here, where so it's good. It's good that we waited, because if you would have said that, buddy, we would have had a war. There would have been a new civil war over chocolate milk, the quality of chocolate, between quality chocolate milk companies, really.
Sure. And just to make sure that this is still a wrestling podcast segment, I will say that it's fucked up that Keith Lee is out of a job right now. And that's there we
bring it back into wrestling. Yeah, there we go. We got back to the wrestling. Yes, I agree. But hopefully, and probably he won't be without a job for too much longer. But
will almost certainly land on his feet after doing some sort of flip that it's impossible to do for anybody else at his size.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. He's going to be doing a second rope moonsault and landing on his feet, and I'll be like, buddy, I can't get out of bed without tripping over my own feet. So,
yeah.
But Wack, thank you, and we look forward to hearing about the chocolate milk report.
100%. Thanks, man.
So there you have it. WackHumanBeing will be back after the holiday season to report back indeed if he's able to get his hands on that delicious chocolate milk. If you are wondering where the best chocolate milk is, I don't know, go Google it, see in your area, and report back. Maybe we can have a little bit of a chocolate milk wars over here. But thank you, Wack. Thank you, BSJ, for being on the pod, talking about one of the more reckless matches and concepts that we actually went through, and just put the wrestlers in a dangerous position. Very weird. A lot of concussions, broken arms, such and such. But look, appreciate you guys coming by. Wack, go follow Wack at WackHumanBeing, and BSJ is at BEE_ES_JAY. That's BSJ, but phonetically spelled out. That's right. I know words like phonetically. Appreciate you guys being on. Can't wait to get them all again. Again, having a concept like that with people who don't know what they're watching. Wack understands wrestling, and even Wack was lost. I'm not me. On the other hand, I'm a sicko for this shit. I say this as a loving pro wrestling fan. Next week, though, we're back with some more fun CPFs. Next week, it is X and Neezus joining me as we talk about the Spirit Squad. And if you don't know who the Spirit Squad was, well, I'll let you know this. I hope you bring all of your flexible chanting stuffs. I don't know. They're male cheerleaders. I don't know where I was going with that. But look, it's a fun one. We end up talking about the Spirit Squad, and we end up talking about Shawn Michaels' really bad dirty macking, and how very toxic Sonny is. But yes, it's a good episode. It's a fun episode, and it is next week's episode. This week's episode is over, and that's where I'm telling you thank you, and I love you. If you want to continue to support the podcast free of charge, you can follow us on Twitter at DorksideRing, at DorksideRing on Instagram as well. Tell your friends about us. Also, if you have not already, go to the Apple Store. leave a 5-star review. If you leave that 5-star review in the Apple Store, I think Spotify apparently has ratings as well. Do that at Spotify. Basically, go to your preferred podcasting platform and leave a 5-star rating if they allow it. And if they don't allow it, then tell them you must tell Google, tell Breaker, tell all these other ones. You could leave these reviews. Please let us have a review function so I can support the Dork Side of the Ring podcast. I want to tell people about how goofy and fun it is that Grumm and his friends get together and talk about professional wrestling. We've been going almost. This will be this one I believe is the end of the 5th month, 5th or 6th month. My brain is not counting correctly. We started in July, August, September, October, November. 5th month. We're going into month 6. We're going into month 6, everybody. Wait, July, August, September, October. No, yeah, we're going into month 6. That is a serious look. Clap of hands, everybody, for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. Dork Side of the Ring podcast on your favorite podcasting platform. Leave a review. If you want to support me more and my endeavors and creativity, follow me on Twitch for the next month. The last month, we're having a month-long going away party, and it coincides with our annual holiday tradition, the 23 days of Grummas. Wednesday is the first day, and we will go all the way through 23 straight days of community celebration and the celebration of friendship and togetherness. No strings attached otherwise. That's over there on Grumm.tv. If you want to join the Discord, join.grumm.tv. Support Patreon, support.grumm.tv. You can help me support financially this podcast and my content. Also, the YouTube stuff that will be coming out starting in January. If you want to get a jump on that, go to T-Grumm on YouTube, and you can subscribe to me there. I might put some Dorkside stuff, some little snippets and whatnot, especially as the podcast grows, and I decide, you know what, let's crank up the effort. I'm going to start doing some video podcasts, and we do that and whatnot. It'll be good times. I think that's all, right? I did the thing, podcast, yeah. Patreon, support.grumm.tv, yeah. SoonTM.com. Shout out my friend Cheese Whiz. SoonTM.com if you're trying to get that gamer in your life, a last minute game, trying to figure out something for him. SoonTM.com. See what games are coming out, and you can get them the video games. These are good, right? Yes. Thank you guys so much. Next week, X, Neezus, myself, talking about the Spirit Squad on the Dork Side of the Ring. Thank you to BSJ and WackHumanBeing for stepping in to the Dork Side of the Ring. Thank you for watching us in the Dork Side of the Ring. And I will see you guys next time. I love you here on the Dork Side of the Ring podcast.